Would you eat the same sardine everyone's touching just because it's popular? If you don't know where to start, your money's already someone else's lunch. Stay with me. I'll show you how to pick the right sardine, not the loudest one.
You know what I find fascinating about humans? They all want to be rich, but most of them freeze the moment money gets real. They want to invest, they want to grow, they dream of financial freedom, yet they stare at their bank app like it's a bomb about to explode. Fear, confusion, too many opinions. That's the cocktail that keeps them stuck. They listen to gurus who promise to turn $5 into $5,000 before breakfast, and somehow they believe it. They scroll through videos of strangers telling them to buy this, sell that, and end up doing nothing, just watching opportunities swim by like sardines in a tank. But I'm here to tell you the truth, and I'll do it the feline way. Sharp, simple, and just a little sarcastic. Investing doesn't start with a course or a guru or a perfect plan. It starts with understanding the basics, one small, smart decision at a time. Every fortune you admire began with something tiny, a spark, a seed, a single sardine. And before you roll your eyes, hear me out. That first sardine is the moment you decide to take control, the moment you stop watching and start building. I've seen humans overcomplicate this for years. They wait for the right time, for the right market, for the right paycheck. Newsflash, there's never a perfect moment. You start with what you have, where you are, and you grow from there. Because wealth doesn't come from waiting, it comes from learning. So if you've ever looked at your savings and thought, I don't even know where to begin, congratulations, you're exactly where every great investor once stood. You're not late. You're just at the beginning of something powerful. And that's what I'm here for, to show you the path of the feline investor. I'll teach you how to think like a cat, calm, curious, and ready to strike when it matters. Because once you understand the first sardine, you can catch an ocean. So sharpen your claws and open your mind. Let's turn your first sardine into your first million.
The upbeat jazz from before fades into a chaotic, cartoonish soundscape, phones buzzing, coins clinking, and sardines splattering on the floor. The screen pans down to a stick-figure human named Eddie, standing in the middle of a massive glowing marketplace filled with stalls labeled stocks, crypto, NFTs, and passive income secrets. Eddie's eyes dart everywhere, overwhelmed. Each stall owner, other stick figures in oversized suits or sunglasses, waves a sardine at him like it's the secret to eternal wealth. Lupe's voice cuts through the chaos, low and amused. Meet Eddie, ambitious, hardworking, slightly confused, and like most humans, one TikTok away from financial disaster. Eddie hesitates between two stalls. One promises guaranteed profit in 24 hours. Another says invest like the billionaires. Both vendors wave sparkly sardines that shimmer like gold. Lupe appears atop a signpost, tail curling as he observes from above. You see, Eddie wants to invest. He's not lazy, he's just lost. He's been told 1,000 times that his money should be working for him, but no one ever told him how to make that happen without losing it first. Eddie finally reaches for the shiny sardine. As soon as he grabs it, the sardine rots instantly in his hand, dripping green goo. The crowd gasps. Lupe shakes his head. That's what happens when you chase hype instead of value. Shiny doesn't always mean safe, and everyone's doing it doesn't make it smart.
The camera zooms out to reveal Eddie's investment project, a pyramid made of sardines stacked unevenly, wobbling as he adds more. Each layer represents something he doesn't understand. Stocks he bought because of a tweet, crypto he bought because it mooned yesterday, and a random online course he paid for but never finished. The pyramid trembles. Lupe lands beside it gracefully, eyes wide in mock terror. "And here it comes," he mutters. The pyramid collapses in slow motion, sardines flying everywhere. Eddie stands frozen, covered in fish oil and regret. "Classic," Lupe sighs. "He tried to build wealth on hype and hope instead of knowledge and patience. Happens every day." Lupe begins pacing around the ruins of the sardine pyramid, voice turning serious, yet still teasing. Eddie's biggest problem isn't that he invested, it's that he never asked why. Why these sardines? Why now? What's the goal? Without purpose, investing becomes gambling. And when you gamble with your savings, someone else, usually the cat, ends up eating your lunch. He pauses, licking his paw dramatically as Eddie buries his face in his stick hands. Poor Eddie thought he needed to be fast. He thought he needed to find the next big thing. But what he really needed, Lupe says, pointing a claw toward the camera, was to slow down and learn what makes a sardine worth catching in the first place. Eddie now sits on the floor, exhausted, surrounded by half-eaten sardines and fake investment manuals. Lupe perches beside him, expression softening, his tone more empathetic now. See, every investor starts like Eddie, excited, scared, and a little clueless. And that's okay. You're supposed to be lost at first. But before you can build your fortune, you've got to understand the basics and the purpose behind every move. Otherwise, you're just stacking rotten sardines, hoping they don't collapse before lunch. Lupe wraps his tail around Eddie's shoulder in a rare gesture of feline comfort, looks at the camera, and adds with a knowing smirk, "Stick around, little investor. We're about to clean up this mess." The music shifts, the chaos fading, replaced by a hopeful rhythm as Lupe prepares to teach Eddie and the viewer the first real step toward wealth. There's a moment, right after Eddie wipes the sardine oil off his trembling hands, when the air suddenly smells like opportunity. A bright market stretches ahead, stalls shining under a golden sun, signs waving, and sardines of every color shimmering like dreams. Lupe walks beside him with that slow, confident feline sway, tail flicking, sunglasses glinting. "Welcome to the sardine market," he purrs, voice dripping with a mix of sarcasm and charm. "Every dreamer ends up here, Eddie. Some leave richer, most leave hungry." Eddie gulps, clutching his tiny fish-shaped coin purse. The place is overwhelming. Sounds, smells, promises, and every stall shouts louder than the next. "Guaranteed returns! Double your fish overnight! Follow my secret sardine strategy!" Lupe chuckles, showing a sharp white fang. "You smell that, kid? That's greed, mixed with tuna." He points toward the first stall, stacked neatly with dull silver tins. "Canned sardines," Lupe explains, tapping one with his claw. "Safe, predictable, sealed tighter than my nap schedule. That's your savings account. You won't lose your fish here, but you won't taste adventure either." Eddie opens one. Inside, the sardines look pale, lifeless, floating in oil. "Not bad," Lupe says, "but after a while, even a patient cat gets tired of the same flavor." He gestures further down, where fresh sardines glisten on crushed ice. "Now that stocks. The smell of risk, the thrill of potential. You can make a feast here, or end up hungry if you don't know what you're sniffing for." Eddie's eyes widen. He reaches for one, but Lupe slaps his hand gently with his tail. "Rule number 1, learn before you earn. You don't bite into a sardine you can't identify. You study the scales, the shine, the smell. Knowledge first, fish later." They walk further, and the crowd thickens. Cats in suits bargain for baskets of golden sardines, glowing, elegant, almost mythical. "Ah, the index funds," Lupe says, his voice softening with respect. "Golden sardines. Balanced flavor, long shelf life. They won't make you rich overnight, but feed on them long enough and you'll never starve again. They grow while you nap. My favorite kind of investment." Eddie stares in awe, imagining years of golden fish multiplying quietly while he sleeps. "That's the magic, kid," Lupe smirks. "Consistency. One fish a day, every day, and soon you own the sea." Eddie smiles for the first time. A spark of hope flickers. But then a shout echoes from the next stall. "Limited edition sardines! Guaranteed to moon tonight!" The crowd rushes. Lupe rolls his eyes. "Here we go again." They push through chaos, banners, flashing lights, influencers tossing fake sardines into the air. Eddie grabs one. It crumbles in his hands, revealing glitter and air. "Fake sardines," Lupe sighs. "Scams, trends, the flavor of foolishness. You think you're getting rich, but all you're really eating is empty hype." Eddie's face drops. Disappointment, embarrassment. Lupe pats his shoulder with a paw. "Don't worry, every investor chases a shiny fish once. What matters is what you do after. Rule number 2, start small, stay consistent. It's not about the biggest catch, it's about feeding yourself long enough to learn what matters." Eddie watches as other stick figures panic, dropping their fake sardines, running to the next stall. "Why are they always chasing?" he asks. Lupe's eyes narrow behind his golden lenses. "Because they think another cat's fish smells better." He flicks his tail, walking past the noise. "Never chase another cat's fish. You've got your own bowl to fill, your own sardines to hunt. The moment you stop comparing, you start winning." The words hang heavy in the air. Eddie looks back at the fake fish, the chaos, then at his small but real pile of canned, fresh, and golden sardines. It isn't much, but it's his. Lupe stops at the edge of the market and stretches, claws out, satisfied. "That's the secret, kid. The market's full of noise, but if you listen closely, every sardine tells a story of patience, risk, and reward. You just need the courage to choose your flavor and the discipline to stay with it." Eddie nods, his confidence growing. The once clumsy stick figure now stands taller, eyes steady. Lupe grins. "Good, you're thinking like a cat now. Learn before you earn. Start small, stay consistent, and never, ever chase another cat's fish. These," he raises a golden sardine, "are the 3 claws of wealth. Scratch them into your heart, and one day you won't just eat sardines, you'll own the ocean." Eddie finally stops running. After chasing every shiny promise, every viral get-rich-quick trend, he realizes something that no guru ever told him. The secret isn't where to invest, it's why and how. All this time, he thought the answer was hidden inside the next big thing, the next stock, the next coin, the next tip. But now, standing still for once, he understands that real wealth doesn't come from catching the fastest fish. It comes from feeding patience. It comes from discipline. It comes from purpose. Lupe watches him quietly, the glint of pride in his golden shades impossible to miss. "You finally get it, human," he says, half smirking, half purring. "You can't control the ocean, but you can learn how to swim smarter." Eddie nods this time, not with excitement, but with clarity. He picks up a single sardine, plain, silver, nothing fancy, and sets it aside. That's his plan. 1 sardine a day. Not a frenzy, not a gamble, just consistency. Tomorrow, he'll add another, and another. One habit, one choice, one calm step at a time. Lupe leans closer and says, "There are two kinds of investors in this world, the hunters and the growers. Hunters chase sardines that never stop moving, always hungry, always anxious, always chasing the next shiny thing. Growers, they plant their time, their effort, their belief. They let the tides work for them. Hunters live on chance. Growers live on time." Eddie finally sees it. Around him, crowds of humans are still scrambling, yelling, tripping over each other, trying to grab the latest magic fish that doesn't even exist. They look desperate, exhausted. But in front of him sits a small, growing stack of real sardines, each one earned, not guessed. They shine not because they're flashy, but because they're his. The kind of shine that comes from effort, not luck. Eddie no longer feels lost. He feels grounded. He doesn't need to rush anymore. He has direction. He doesn't need more noise. He has rhythm. His little pile of sardines is proof that wealth doesn't have to roar. Sometimes it just grows in silence. Lupe gives one final nod, the kind that says more than 1,000 words. "You see, Eddie," he murmurs, "it was never about catching sardines. It was about creating them. Anyone can chase the tide, but only a few learn to dance with it." And with that, Eddie smiles, a quiet, knowing smile, because he finally understands. The real victory isn't in the size of the pile. It's in the patience it took to build it.
And that's when it hits him. The piece he was chasing wasn't hiding in the next big trend or the next viral stock tip. It was right here, in the quiet rhythm of doing the right thing again and again. Lupe stretches, flicking his tail with that smug satisfaction only a cat can pull off, and says, "Now you understand, little human. Wealth isn't built by noise, it's built by patience. The market rewards the calm, not the clever." Eddie laughs softly because he finally feels it, that sense of control, of direction, of ownership over his own future. No more gambling, no more guessing, just growth, one sardine at a time. Lupe keeps talking, but now his tone softens, still playful but heavier with meaning. "Everyone wants to skip to the feast," he says, "but the real magic happens in the waiting. You don't need a fortune to start. You just need your first sardine, your first act of discipline, your first choice to build instead of chase. That's how every great fortune starts. Small, quiet, and a little bit boring. But boring is beautiful when it works." There's something powerful in his words, the kind of wisdom that doesn't come from a book, but from scratches, scars, and a few lost sardines along the way. Eddie looks at his growing pile, modest but steady, and realizes that he no longer envies anyone else's ocean. He's building his own, slowly, intentionally, and that changes everything. Lupe leans back, lets out a soft purr, and says, "So here's the truth most cats won't tell you. The market doesn't care about your feelings, but it does reward your habits. Learn before you earn. Start small, stay consistent, and never, ever chase another cat's fish." The sound fades to a calm beat, not triumphant, but resolute. It feels like sunrise after a long night. Lupe smirks one last time and says, "You've got your first sardine. Now protect it, grow it, respect it, because the moment you do, you're no longer surviving, you're building." A pause, a flick of the tail, a glint of gold in his sunglasses, and he says, "Now go, turn your first sardine into your first million." And with that, the lesson lands. Quiet, sharp, unforgettable. The real journey doesn't start when you have money. It starts the moment you decide to use it wisely.